Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. Welcome to the match review of Netherlands 1, Spain 1. The friendly has played out. My match prediction was absolutely spot on. It is a draw here at the Amsterdam Arena, of course, the Ajax Stadium. And well, an interesting game, quite a lot to talk about. You weren't really expecting much from both teams, but there are definitely some topics to discuss. There are definitely some things we learned from this game, so without any further ado, let's get going. And let's actually start with the team selection, guys, because, well, Netherlands went pretty goddamn strong in all truth. About as strong as it gets, which I thought was really surprising. We spoke about before the game the way that we've got Nations League games coming up, and you would have thought the Netherlands will be thinking, let's rest a few players here, let's get our second team. Maybe this result doesn't matter so much, but clearly De Boer, they're in transition, Netherlands, like we said earlier also, and maybe he wanted to get his best 11 out there, see if they could get a good win against a good nation, and I think that's what they went for. You saw Depay in there, De Jong, also Luke De Jong, of course, as well as Frenkie. You saw Wijnaldum, Ake in there. And honestly, for Netherlands, it was about as strong as it gets right now for them. So Netherlands came up full strength. Spain, essentially the opposite. I think that was, well, our B team, no other way of putting it. Almost 11 changes, maybe 10, 9 at least, really, from what would be a normal or best Spain team from the players we've got available this international break. So, well done, Luis Enrique. We should be fully rested now for what are going to be some massive games against Switzerland and Germany. But lineup-wise, Spain heavily rotated. The players coming in, you wouldn't expect them to be that near the Euros in the summer, which is good. It's good to see that these players can come in. I thought we played well overall in the evening. Look, we can see players that shouldn't be there, which I'll be getting on to. We can see who needs to come in, who needs to come out. But what I'm so happy about is the foundations there in the team. They played good football. We dominated large parts of the game against Holland's first team. And let's go on with the match action, guys, because I think Spain definitely started the brighter team. Yes, Netherlands had some top players on the pitch, so when they got in the final third, they definitely could hurt us. But I think you saw, and I said it just briefly there, the style from Spain or the system, the way of play that we had out there, and we were navigating out on that football pitch. Because I think Netherlands, they look a little bit lost. They're missing their manager, of course, really. They're in a new transition period. They don't look that good. Also some key players. But it was still a strong enough team to go and play a good game against Spain. But I think for large parts of that first half, Spain were dominant. They really were. We had that style in play. We were getting the balls through the lines. Great build-up from the back. And it was almost, no matter who comes in, you're looking at such a weakened Spain team from what would be our starting 11. And I saw the foundations were still there, and that's a positive for me. It really is, to come to Netherlands away from home against a strong team where they clearly wanted to win here, to boost themselves, to get themselves used to their strongest 11. And I think Spain dominated large parts of that game, and we got a deserved goal. It was actually Canales who put us 1-0 up, who deserved it. He had a really good game. Him and Morata link up to it, which was definitely deserved. Both of them really impressive for me on the evening. Good ball by Morata into the channel. Lovely take by Canales. And a good finish into the corner past Bizzo. So 1-0 Spain in the first half. And Netherlands, yes, they came into it here and there a little bit. Spain maybe could have made it 2. But in all truth, let's not, beat around the bush here. There were little chances in this game. There really were. You're looking at 2 or 3 per half for both teams. So there isn't really any point in me going mental and saying how much of a cracking game this was. It was quite low tempo. Teams were passing around the back a lot. There was experiments. A very rested Spain team, of course. I think as a Netherlands fan, you'd be way more disappointed. You had your strong team out there coming up against a weakened Spain. I think they would have wanted to see Netherlands really go for the game with the Dutch fans, and they didn't ever really do that. They had some good chances for sure. Look, Simon made a couple of good saves. Our defence was a little bit faulty, as you'd expect for a second or third back line of Spain, which it was in the end. But other than that goal in the first half, not really much happened. So I think that's a disappointment for Netherlands. Spain, we maybe could have created a bit more, but I wouldn't be too harsh on the team because, like I say, heavily rotated. We can't just keep picking holes in something that we're probably not going to see in a big game. So I think what we can learn is that, look, when Gaia came off, I think our left side diminished. I think Reguilon, he's not at the top of his game right now, and I think right now Gaia is the left back for the national team. In terms of other things we can learn player-wise, Bellerin at right back, I'm not going to be too harsh on him simply because, look, he's our fourth choice right back. It'd usually be Navas, Carvajal, Sergi Roberto, then Bellerin. So I'm not going to drill into him, but the fact of the matter is he wasn't up to scratch, and he clearly suffered out there. And same with Reguilon, really, who's meant to be maybe our starting left back. He looks poor right now. No other way of putting it. Does not look good enough. And you're looking all around the pitch, of course, most of these guys aren't going to be in the starting lineup. We're looking at, Ramos and Pau Torres in defence, De Gea in goal. I thought Simon was good, but the fact of the matter is that De Gea's going to be there. In midfield, Busquets, Fabian, Merino, Thiago, these sorts of players are all going to be there in attack, guys. Morata, who started today, you'd expect to be there, of course, but Ansu Fati, Ferran Torres, Oyarzabal, all of these players, guys, I'm listing so many key players for Spain that weren't really that heavily involved, if not involved at all out there on that pitch. So So many new players came in. I think we saw a few like Bellerin and Reguilon who struggled. Also Asensio, I'm not going to leave him out just because he's a big name. Not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. He's got good touches, good pace here and there, but nowhere near enough end product. Messed up some big chances to get Spain some good goals and chances in that game. And I think he struggled, and in the future, I wouldn't have him in my squad. But let's move on to that second half, because it was Netherlands who actually got the equaliser immediately, really, and it was all about their quality. Look, it's a good ball into the box, you could say. Spain have to deal with it. It goes past Garcia, then it goes past Inigo Martinez, then you're thinking Reguilon's got an easy clearance, but he lets it go straight past him, and once it falls to someone like Van der Beek at the back post, who's such a cold finisher in front of goal, he lashes it into the corner. 1-1 there in the end, of course, and I am thinking... it's a little bit of a shame, because I don't think Spain deserved to be pegged back, really. I thought we were the better team overall, and Netherlands, at that stage of the game, could probably count themselves lucky. As the game went on, Spain certainly could have pulled back in front. Asensio had a good chance at the back post. Coque also was doing some really good movements in midfield. I want to give him a shout out. I thought he was excellent in there, the Atletico Madrid man. I certainly had doubts about him being in the national team, but he was superb out there. Morata kept on causing some danger, but he didn't really have the best second half until he was taken off, of course. Bellerin had a shot from long distance, and look, Rodri also had a header in there. I think Spain created a few chances in the second half. It was nothing extreme. We didn't ever really push and say, God, let's go and win this game. That wasn't ever really the ploy. Netherlands did hurt us. They did hit us back a few times. They kept on getting in behind Reguilon's channel, which is a worry for me. He wasn't good on the evening. He looks a little bit lost position-wise with the ball at his feet. Bellerin, the same can be said for him, really, on the other side. Those two look weak at fullback, and you'd expect, or you'd hope, they won't be playing too much football for us in the future. But other than that, guys, that Netherlands had their chances. Depay should have scored. That's absolutely for sure. He dilly-dallied on it. He had a few of those, and he definitely could have put Netherlands in front. Other than that, I think it was De Jong, actually, who received a really good pass into the area, and yes, the ball's a little bit slow, but I think he could have hit the ball first time. He tried to go round Simon, didn't end up doing well enough, but other than that, little happened in the game. It's one of those friendlies where, like I say, no point making up nonsense about it. It wasn't really that intriguing. What I say is how happy I am with the foundations of Luis Enrique's team. That's what I want to note down, really. Like I say, so many rotations against a top nation, and we saw the foundations of what we want to be seeing from a Luis Enrique Spain team all over that side. So that's a massive bonus. Players who did well and came in. Unai Simon on his debut I thought was really good in goal, also at bringing the ball out from the back. Rodri in midfield, also Coque I thought was outstanding, maybe even man of the match. Morata for me has to be Spain's number 9, there's no debate about that. Other than that, I wouldn't give too many plaudits to anyone else. Any of the subs didn't do that much off the bench, in all truth. They didn't have that much of an impact. So that's probably where I'm going to wrap up the review, actually. Overall, I'm happy for Spain. I got my prediction bang on. I think Netherlands will probably be a little bit disappointed they didn't make more of the opportunity. They messed up a few chances in there. They don't look themselves right now. And I think Spain will be happy. Look, we've rested a lot of players. The foundations were all over that second team. And of course, we're not going to be seeing many of these guys in important games. We've got Switzerland in the Nations League away. That's a huge fixture for Spain. If we win that, we're in a wonderful position to go through. We really are. So let's see if we can win that match. It would be a massive statement. And I back the players to come. And if we play like that sort of game with a bit more quality, there's no reason why we can't win that game. Then you also got Germany at home on the Tuesday. We know it's an absolute massive game. It's a blockbuster fixture. Of course it is. It's Spain versus Germany. It's playing for a Nations League final spot here away to Netherlands. And we've got a lot of players, good players, to come into the team. And you'd hope they can do the job. So without any further ado, that's where I'm going to end it. I will see you guys for the match review of Switzerland. And of course, over the next week or so, the match reviews, the previews for all of the Spain games. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, leave your thoughts on today's game down below, and goodbye.